Welcome to the Continuing Adult Ed Spring PL Conference. You are listening to Embracing Plurilingualism, Stories at the Heart of Language Education. Je m'appelle Erin Coulson et je suis coordinatrice du français langue additionnelle et des langues internationales. Stories have the power to bring communities together, pulling folks closer, and serving as bridges that connect individuals through shared experiences, values, and memories. Stories shape the identity of communities, fostering a sense of belonging through shared experiences and making us feel at home in our words and our world. Within this session, we will explore the power of story at the heart of language education, with a particular focus on the role of dual language books in international language classrooms. Together, let's take a look at the learning goals for this session. By the end of this session, we hope to understand the unique challenges and needs of international language learners by delving into the benefits of plurilingualism and pluriculturalism in language education. Next, we will notice and name how multi-language text sets can aid language acquisition, foster cultural awareness, and support the needs of additional language learners. Our final goal is to be someone who appreciates how fostering multiple language skills can lead to enhanced cognitive development, better language proficiency, and a greater appreciation of cultural diversity. At this time, we invite you to take a moment to pause and reflect on the importance of the languages that hold a place in your heart. This is a minds-on that you might consider trying with students. First, draw a self-portrait. Next, place the languages, dialects, and cultures that you have encountered in the past, even if you only have a basic understanding of them, along with the languages that you hope to learn around your portrait. Feel free to incorporate words or symbols from these languages. Next, reflect on the reasons why you've placed these words around the different parts of your body. Share your self-portrait with a peer. When I think about my self-portrait, I think that I would place French and English in my heart, as these are languages that are very meaningful to me. I would place Italian and Spanish in my hands, as these are languages spoken by my family members and my parents, but languages that I grasp only a little. What would your portrait look like? And why would you place the words and the languages in the spaces that you did? On the screen, you can see some student examples. For instance, on the left, we have a portrait where English is placed on the head, but Portuguese is placed by the heart. The student shared that they love and use both languages, but that their emotions are more connected to Portuguese. In the middle, we have a student who expressed a desire to learn French. They've written, I've placed French on ma bouche because this is a language I want to learn. Finally, on the right, we have a student who expresses a connection to Korean. They indicated Korean is on my feet because it represents my future. I love Korean drama and I want to learn Korean so I can understand the culture better. What might your student learner portraits tell us about the significance of the languages in their lives? As we move through this session, you'll hear the terms multilingual and plurilingual referenced. So let's take a moment and look at the similarities and differences between these two terms. While the term multilingual or multilingualism refers to different languages coexisting in a given physical space or social context, the term plurilingual or plurilingualism refers to the ways in which individuals' collection of languages overlap and intersect. In other words, the ways in which languages interact and enrich one another as folks learn to develop their proficiency in a variety of languages. As we move forward through the session, I invite you to think about the following questions. First, how do you engage your students and generate excitement about text written or spoken in the target language. When you think about the design of your courses, do students have access to a range of multimedia texts in various formats to support their learning? And how can students communicate their learning in the target language through interaction and mediation? The CEFR is an internationally recognized framework. It is designed to challenge oppressive language instruction practices and promote inclusive education. Historically, additional language instruction often prioritized isolated grammar lessons and memorized presentations over spontaneous spoken interactions. This limited critical thinking and problem solving skills. The CFR disrupts these oppressive practices by providing a transparent, asset based perspective, supporting students of various abilities and backgrounds. The CFR offers a transparent and standardized framework to ensure that students are not judged against a specific accent or vocabulary, potentially perpetuating biases and leading to a lack of confidence in spoken language abilities. In looking at the diagrams, you'll notice the importance of building communicative competencies through spoken and listening activities, particularly in the early stages of language acquisition. At the time of this recording, the PDSB offers 23 different languages as part of its Saturday programming. Please note that languages identified in purple are officially covered by the CEFR. The CFR classifies language learners into 6 levels, which are organized into 3 broad categories. A1 and A2 are considered beginner levels. Learners at these levels can understand and use familiar everyday expressions and basic phrases, provided there is context and opportunities for repetition, interaction, and visual supports. It's critical to set high but realistic expectations for additional language learners. Consider what specific knowledge and skills they need to acquire. Consider how to empower students to use transferable linguistic skills in additional language environments. On the screen, you will see some suggestions to support learners based on their levels of proficiency. For instance, in the beginning stages of language acquisition, it is important to provide picture or gesture supports. Translanguaging can also be helpful. Take a look at the examples on the screen for additional ideas on how you can support learners as they build their language skills. To learn more about the CEFR as an equitable assessment framework, you may be interested in checking out our A plus Astuces video capsule. Video 2.1 looks at the Spanish context. Let's go ahead and take a look at some resources that promote plurilingualism. First, let's explore Storybooks Canada. Storybooks Canada offers a diverse collection of free digital books. These books are available in a variety of languages, including English, French, Arabic, Chinese, and many indigenous languages. The aim is to provide language learners with access to culturally relevant and responsive stories that reflect their experiences and backgrounds. Storybooks Canada is part of the Global Storybooks Project. It contains 40 stories from the African Storybook. These stories are available with both text and audio in English, French, and many other international languages. To view the languages that are available, simply click More Languages. Here you can see some of the languages that are available in the resource. Languages include Urdu, Ukrainian, Turkish, Tagalog, Swahili, Spanish, Somali, Punjabi, and many, many more. Simply scroll through the list to find your language of choice. When you are ready to explore the resource, simply click on a story of interest. Note that you can change the language by clicking Change Language and scrolling through the list until you find a language of interest. Once you select the language, the storybook will automatically switch over to the language that you have selected. Note that as you scroll down, you can choose to play the text by clicking the audio icon. The story will play in the language you have selected.
दी है
Note that if the speed of the playback is too quick or too slow, you can customize this by scrolling up and selecting reading speed to slow down or speed up the text. If you are looking to download the resource, simply click Download Options. You can choose to download the text as a regular PDF, as a wordless PDF, or as a PDF without images. There are many customizable options on the Storybooks Canada site. Indigenous Storybooks is similar to the African Storybooks site. Inspired by the open license stories from Little Cree Books, this project aims to make the text, images, and audio of stories available in not only English, French, and the most widely spoken languages of Canada, but also a variety of Indigenous languages. Let's take a look. Like Storybooks Canada, you can select Change Language to toggle between languages. Here you will see that a variety of Indigenous languages are available in addition to English, French, and Spanish. Select the language of interest and the stories will change. Like with African storybooks, simply click on a story that is of interest. You will notice that audio may or may not be available depending on the language that you have selected. However, the text will be available in the language of choice. Again, if the audio is available, simply click on Audio for narration. Dual language books are publications that present text in two or more languages side by side or on facing pages. They can range from children's storybooks to poetry or other educational materials. Dual language books provide opportunities for language learners to improve their language skills, enhance comprehension, and build understanding around cultural nuances. If you are looking to source dual language books, a resource that might be of interest is the Orca Books site. Let's check it out. Orca Book Publishers offers a variety of dual language resources for children. You will notice that a range of resources are available, including texts featuring English and Spanish, featuring English and Arabic, and featuring English and a variety of Indigenous languages, for example, English and Cree. AV World Languages is a centrally procured resource that is available on the BYOD site. AV to World Languages offers the same texts in several languages. This means that students can access the content and work on their literacy skills in a language of their choice and reinforce those skills by reading the same text in another language. If you teach Spanish, you may be interested in the Mary Glasgow magazines. These are great digital resources that can complement work done in class. There are PDFs available for readings and audio files that are great for providing exposure to a variety of Spanish voices and accents from across the diaspora. As you look to explore the connections between stories and building language competencies, You might be interested in making connections to an exhibit that is being featured at PAMA. The Stories of Home, Finding Community and Belonging in Peel exhibit looks at what home means to the people living, working, and visiting Peel. Throughout history, finding a home in Peel has been exciting, overwhelming, and at times difficult. This exhibit explores the ideas around establishing connections to place and people in creating a sense of belonging that strengthens community. Consider inviting your students to share their personal stories, videos, images, and objects about what home means to them using the languages of their choice. Here's what Pascal Siakam, a former Raptors player, native from Cameroon, and French and English speaker, had to say about home. Toronto made me feel like I belonged from day one. I loved the diversity. I'd go out and I'd see Cameroonians, Ghanaians, Mexicans, Koreans, Jamaicans, Europeans, just all types of people from all types of communities. It made me feel comfortable. I'll always be a part of this community. That's what I meant about putting roots down. It isn't just, oh, I have a house in Toronto. It's where I live. It's where so many of the things I care about are, and where my brothers and sisters are, and where my PS 43 foundation is, and will continue to be. How might you leverage multilingual, multimodal resources, such as the ones you see on the screen with your students? How will you intentionally make connections to their lived experiences, interests, and languages of the heart within your courses? There are many wonderful dual language resources to choose from. Check out this award winning dual language book teaching colors in both Spanish and English. ¿Cuál es tu color favorito? Engage young people with their surroundings and help them to explore the vibrant world around them in both Spanish and English. If you are teaching either Mandarin, Hindi, Korean, for example, perhaps you might be interested in dual language resources from the Spark Collection. The Spark Collection offers storybooks known as Lift the Flap storybooks. They are designed to teach the target language in a fun and natural way. You'll notice that each page has a story text in English as well as the target language, followed by a big flap that can be lifted up to highlight a key vocabulary word on each page. In Search of the Lost Words is a bilingual time travel adventure. This is a very unique dual language resource in that it offers a graphic novel approach. The reader can personalize the story by completing the speech bubbles in the target language of their choice. As we look to shift to a culture of creation, why not invite students to create their own dual language books? On the screen, you will see an example of some dual language books created by students at Silver Creek. These students used Book Creator to create dual language books in multiple languages. You will notice the text is written in multiple languages and audio is included for accessibility. Again, we have examples of dual language books created by students in Peel. Here, grade 4 students use Book Creator to create books in English and Arabic. The students recorded themselves reading in Arabic so that any new Arabic speaking students coming to the school would be able to read the book as well as listen to the book. Why not invite students to create their own multimodal dual language text sets? On the screen, you will see a variety of paths that students can explore as they share their stories and create dual language texts. They might consider using Book Creator, or perhaps they may lean to animation. On the screen, you will see some board approved software that can be used to create animation and share dual language stories in that way. Consider using Brush Ninja, Stop Motion Studio, Keynote, or Flip a Clip for this purpose. Students might be interested in podcasting. They might be curious about how they can share their story through audio. Why not invite them to use GarageBand and record a dual language story as a podcast? Increasingly, students are interested in augmented reality. Why not layer audio and pictures using the app Reality Composer? Adobe Express is also a great tool to share stories. These are not exhaustive lists, but are a mere sampling of some of the digital tools that students can use to share their story, to share what home means to them, and to create dual language text sets for use in the classroom.